I need to tell you something that might hurt at first, but will make sense of your entire life. You don't feel like you belong anywhere because you were never supposed to. And before you close this video thinking it's going to be depressing, stay with me, because what I'm about to explain will actually set you free. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been at a party, surrounded by people laughing and talking, and felt completely alone? Not because they're bad people, but because there's this invisible glass wall between you and everyone else. Or maybe you've had close friends, people who love you, but there's still this part of you that feels unseen. Like you're performing a version of yourself that's acceptable, but never fully real. What if I told you this feeling isn't a bug in your psychology? It's a feature. In 1959, a psychologist named Irvin Yalom identified something he called existential isolation. It's different from loneliness. Loneliness is about being physically alone. Existential isolation is about being fundamentally alone in your subjective experience. No one can truly access your consciousness. No one can feel exactly what you feel. Now, most people don't think about this. They're too busy living. But you're aware of it. And that awareness is both your curse and your gift. Why do some people feel this and others don't? What makes you different? Here's what's actually happening in your brain. There are 4 main reasons you might feel like you don't belong anywhere. Reason number 1, high self-awareness. Research shows that people with high metacognition, the ability to think about their own thinking, often feel more alienated. You're watching yourself interact with the world, which creates distance. It's like being an actor and the audience at the same time. Exhausting, right? Reason number 2, values misalignment. Philosopher Martin Heidegger talked about das Man, the they. It's society's default way of being. When your values don't match das Man, you feel like an outsider. Maybe everyone around you values career success, and you value creative expression. Or they value fitting in, and you value authenticity. That gap? That's not your fault. Reason number 3, sensitivity to inauthenticity. Some people can tolerate surface-level connections. You probably can't. Psychologist Carl Rogers called this need for congruence, alignment between your inner and outer self. You feel like you don't belong because most social spaces reward performance, not authenticity, and you're unwilling to perform. But here's the question nobody asks. What if not belonging is actually protecting you from something worse? Reason number 4, the integration paradox. The more integrated you become, the more you know yourself, the less you fit into predefined categories. You're not just an introvert or creative or analytical. You're complex. And complexity doesn't fit neatly into social boxes. Okay, here's where this gets uncomfortable but important. The philosopher Soren Kierkegaard said that the more conscious you become, the more you suffer. Not because consciousness is bad, but because you become aware of things others don't see. You see the contradictions, the performative nature of most interactions, the way people say one thing but mean another, the arbitrary rules everyone follows without questioning. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's the price of awareness. And yes, it makes belonging harder. So, does this mean you're destined to be alone? Actually, no. But the solution isn't what you think. Here's the mistake most people make when they feel this way. They do one of 2 things. Option 1, they try to fix themselves. They think, if I just become more normal, more social, more like everyone else, then I'll belong. So they suppress who they are. They perform. They exhaust themselves trying to fit. This doesn't work. Because you're trying to solve an existential problem with a social solution. Option 2. They embrace isolation as identity. They decide, I'm just different. I'm meant to be alone. I'm too deep for most people. This becomes a defensive posture, a way to avoid the vulnerability of connection. This is a trap too, because it turns your awareness into arrogance, and that's not wisdom. That's just loneliness with an ego. So what's the actual answer? How do you live with this? Here's what I've learned, both from research and from living this myself. Principle number 1, stop looking for your people. Start building your context. Belonging isn't found, it's created. You need to build environments that reflect your values. That might mean starting a book club, a creative project, an online community, something where depth is the default, not the exception. I felt like I didn't belong anywhere until I stopped trying to fit into existing spaces and started creating my own. Then, people like me started showing up. Principle number 2, accept partial belonging. You will never find one group that satisfies all parts of you, and that's okay. You might have intellectual friends, creative friends, and deep emotional friends. Different contexts for different parts of your complexity. Philosopher Hannah Arendt called this plurality, the ability to exist in multiple spaces without needing one space to be everything. Principle number 3, reframe your aloneness. Existential isolation isn't a problem to solve, it's a condition to accept. You are fundamentally alone in your subjective experience, but so is everyone else. The difference is you're aware of it. That awareness can be a bridge, not a wall. When you accept your own isolation, you can actually connect more deeply with others' isolation. That's intimacy. What if the feeling of not belonging is actually the beginning of something more real? Here's what I want you to understand. The people who change things, who create art, who ask important questions, they almost always feel like they don't belong. Virginia Woolf felt it. Nietzsche felt it. James Baldwin felt it. Not because they were broken, but because they saw what others didn't see. Your feeling of not belonging isn't evidence that something's wrong with you. It's evidence that you're paying attention. So here's what you do with this feeling. First, stop trying to belong everywhere. Choose intentionally. Not every space is for you, and that's okay. Second, find one person who gets it. Not a whole community, just one. Deep connection with one person beats shallow connection with 20. Third, create something. Write, make art, build something. Creation is how you turn isolation into expression, and expression is how others find you. Fourth, be honest about your experience. When someone asks how you are, try saying, I feel disconnected lately, instead of, fine. Vulnerability is the antidote to isolation. Look, I can't promise you'll ever feel like you fully belong. I can't promise the glass wall will disappear, but I can tell you this. The feeling you have, that existential homelessness, it's not a sign that you're broken. It's a sign that you're awake. And the world needs awake people. Maybe the goal isn't to find where you belong. Maybe it's to become so authentically yourself that you create belonging for others who feel the same way. You're not alone in feeling alone. And somehow, that makes it more bearable. I need you to be really honest with yourself right now. Have you ever loved someone more when they pulled away? If yes, I know exactly what's happening in your brain. And I'm going to show you how to break the cycle. This isn't going to be one of those videos that tells you, just love yourself more, or know your worth. That advice is useless if you don't understand the psychology underneath. What I'm about to explain is based on attachment theory, one of the most researched areas in psychology. And it's going to feel uncomfortable because I'm going to describe patterns you might recognize in yourself. But I promise, understanding this is the first step to freedom. So stay with me. Why do some people chase love that hurts them while others walk away easily? What happened to you? Let's go back to the beginning. Not your first relationship, your first attachment. Psychologist John Bowlby discovered that between ages 0 to 2, your brain develops an attachment blueprint. It asks one fundamental question: can I count on others to be there for me? If your caregiver was consistently responsive, fed you when hungry, comforted you when scared, your brain learned, the world is safe. I am worthy of care. That's secure attachment. But if your caregiver was inconsistent, sometimes loving, sometimes distant, sometimes overwhelmed, your brain learned something different. It learned that love is unpredictable, and that uncertainty became your normal. Here's what anxious attachment looks like in adult relationships. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Pattern number 1, the activation cycle. Someone shows interest in you. You feel amazing. Then they take a few hours to text back, and suddenly you're spiraling. Did I say something wrong? Are they losing interest? Your nervous system goes into panic mode. This isn't you being crazy or needy. Your amygdala, your brain's threat detector, learned early on that distance means danger. So when someone pulls back even slightly, your brain treats it like a survival threat. Pattern number 2, the protest behavior. When you feel someone pulling away, you unconsciously try to re-establish connection. You text more. You seek reassurance. You might even create conflict just to get a response. This is called protest behavior. It's not manipulation. It's your attachment system's desperate attempt to restore safety. Pattern number 3, the avoidant attraction. Here's the cruel irony. You're usually attracted to emotionally unavailable people, avoidant attachment types. Why? Because your nervous system recognizes the pattern. The intermittent reinforcement, sometimes close, sometimes distant, creates the same anxiety you felt as a child. And your brain misinterprets that anxiety as chemistry or passion. So you're literally addicted to the feeling of almost being loved, but not quite. Let me show you what's happening in your brain when you're chasing someone emotionally unavailable. The dopamine trap. When someone you like gives you attention, your brain releases dopamine. But here's the thing. Dopamine is highest during anticipation, not reward. So when someone is inconsistent, texts you, then goes silent, your dopamine system goes into overdrive. You're getting intermittent reinforcement, which is the most addictive schedule in behavioral psychology. It's the same mechanism as gambling. You don't get addicted to winning every time, you get addicted to not knowing when you'll win. That's what emotionally unavailable people do to your brain. The cortisol factor. Meanwhile, your stress hormone cortisol is elevated. You're in a constant state of low-level panic. This combination, high dopamine, high cortisol, feels like intensity, like real love. But intensity isn't intimacy. It's just your nervous system being dysregulated. So how do you break this? How do you stop being attracted to people who hurt you? Before I give you the real solution, I need to tell you what doesn't work. Because the internet is full of bad advice. Bad advice number 1. Just date secure people. Here's the problem. If you have anxious attachment, secure people feel boring to you. They're consistent, communicative, emotionally available. Your brain doesn't recognize this as love because it's missing the anxiety. So you might date a secure person and feel nothing, and then beat yourself up for self-sabotaging. But you're not sabotaging. You're just not rewired yet. Bad advice number 2. Play hard to get. Some people will tell you to mirror avoidant behavior. Pull back, create distance, make them chase you. This doesn't heal your attachment. It just makes you perform avoidance. You can't out-avoidant an avoidant. You'll just exhaust yourself. Bad advice number 3. They need to change. If you're with an avoidant person, waiting for them to become emotionally available is like waiting for winter to become summer. It's not happening without serious work on their end. Your healing cannot depend on someone else's transformation. It has to start with you. Okay, here's what actually works. This is based on research by Dr. Amir Levine and others in attachment therapy. Step number 1. Nervous system regulation. You can't think your way out of anxious attachment. Your attachment system lives in your body, not your conscious mind. When you feel activated, when someone doesn't text back and you start spiraling, you need to regulate before you respond. Try this. Feel your feet on the ground. Take 3 deep belly breaths. Say out loud, "I am safe right now." This interrupts the panic response. It tells your nervous system that uncertainty is not danger. Step number 2. The earned security practice. You need to prove to yourself that you can be your own secure base. Start small. When you want to text someone for reassurance, wait 10 minutes and self-soothe first. Journal what you're feeling. Call a friend. Go for a walk. Show your brain that you can handle your own discomfort. Over time, weeks and months, your brain learns, I don't need someone else to regulate my emotions. I can do this. That's earned secure attachment. Step number 3. Conscious partner selection. This is hard, but essential. You need to start choosing partners based on how safe they make you feel, not how intense. If someone is consistent, responsive, and communicative, and you feel bored, that's not boredom. That's your nervous system in an unfamiliar state called calm. Sit with it. Let your brain learn that calm is safe. What if the person who feels right is actually wrong, and the person who feels wrong is actually right? Step number 4. The unavailable people protocol. If you're currently chasing someone who's emotionally unavailable, you need to make a hard choice. Not for them, for you. Ask yourself, is this person capable of meeting my needs? Not someday, right now. If the answer is no, you have to walk away. Not because they're bad, but because you deserve someone who's ready. Here's the thing nobody tells you about anxious attachment. It's not really about other people. It's about the relationship you have with yourself. Specifically, it's about this question: am I worthy of consistent love? Somewhere along the way, you learned that you have to earn love, that you have to be perfect or helpful or always available, that love is conditional. Healing anxious attachment means learning that you're worthy of love not because of what you do, but because of who you are. That's the hardest work. And it's not done in relationships. It's done in therapy, in self-reflection, in moments of choosing yourself. What would change if you truly believed you were worthy of secure love? I want to be honest about the timeline. Rewiring attachment patterns takes time. Research suggests it takes about 6 to 12 months of conscious work to shift from anxious to more secure. That's with therapy, self-awareness, and practice. But here's what's beautiful. Every time you choose to self-regulate instead of seeking reassurance, you're building new neural pathways. Every time you walk away from unavailable people, you're teaching your brain you're worthy of more. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. And progress is possible. If you're watching this and recognizing yourself in these patterns, I want you to know something. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're not unlovable. You just learned a strategy for survival that no longer serves you. And the fact that you're here, watching this, trying to understand yourself, that's the first step. That's courage. You can love deeply without losing yourself. You can desire connection without needing constant reassurance. You can be vulnerable without being desperate. But it starts with you becoming the secure base you've been searching for in others. You deserve love that feels peaceful, not because it's boring, but because it's safe. And you're worth the work it takes to get there.